Good evening, everyone. I'm Cathy. I'm from Scam Haters United Australia and New Zealand. And tonight I am joined with Ruth, who is from Scam Haters United in the UK. Ruth was the original founder and she's our matriarch and she's a wealth of knowledge. So it's lovely. Good afternoon, Ruth.
And good evening to you too.
Thank you. Thank you. We've got a very, very interesting topic tonight. We're going to talk about romance scams.
And the thing is, you know, it's often a topic that when you pick up on it, people say, "Really?" You know, and really, a celebrity romance scam is no different from a military one, or
that's right.
You know, the same methods are used. They're just using a different name and set of pictures.
It's the same playbook.
Yes. And, you know, they sort of tweak them a little bit. Now, when they're looking for people, say it's a military romance scam. When they're looking for somebody, they might go on Facebook, they might go on Instagram. And then they might just send lots and lots of requests out to see what happens. When it's a celebrity, the victims are more or less presenting themselves on a plate. They don't know they're doing that.
That's right.
And what we were saying about earlier is the fact that if you are on Facebook, say, and you go on somebody's website, your page, and you make a comment, it will not be very long before you get a message.
That is very, very true. That's very true. Do not comment on celebrity pages because you can guarantee that people will be out there watching.
Yeah, and we're not talking about one scammer using one set of pictures. We're talking about lots of scammers. So you're going to get one. You might not know which one you're going to get. And they'll come and they'll say, I can't contact you through my main verified page. My management doesn't let me. So what I would like to do, you know, I've made these pages to contact my fans. Can we talk on Telegram, WhatsApp? There's a one called Zangi or something now.
That's right.
And so the victim immediately is hooked because it's, oh my God, he's contacted me. Well, see whether, you know, this is good. And so really, as I say, you are unwittingly presenting yourself on a plate. You don't know you're doing it. And it's easier for them to get victims.
That's right.
And using any other type of scam.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, I'm well known. Everybody who knows me for my Brian May. And I did it. There was one time when he had something out and I commented that I bought it. I was inundated with I was furious. I was inundated with brands. But this is how they work. They're hunting. They are literally hunting. And it doesn't matter if you're male or female. It doesn't matter if you are, you know, if you are commenting on, what have I got here? Sandra Bullock, Keanu Reeves.
Johnny Depp.
I've got Johnny Depp. Now, I want you to look. I'm just going to play something. It's only a minute long. But these were sent out. Also, we're going to be talking shut up. Let the radio on. Right. See if I can do this.
Assistant page. You can reach out to this page whenever you want to talk to me. So much imposter everywhere. I am really sorry for that, and I am working on it. About 6 imposters has being arrested and detained for proper investigation. I love you all, and make sure you all have my FIN card. If you don't have one, you can reach out to my assistant manager on this page for your fans card.
Next.
Ruth, can you also play Sandra Bullock?
What?
Thank you so much for the love and care. This is my manager assistant page. You can reach out to him whenever you want to talk to me. So much imposter everywhere. I am really sorry for that.
You see, so we've got
about 6 imposter has been arrested and detained.
So we've got Johnny Depp and Keanu Reeves with the same soundtrack.
Mm.
This one is awful, frankly.
Miss Sandra Bullock. I've been told a lot of things about people selling fake.
This is a good one.
Hey, Miss Sandra Bullock. I've been told a lot of things about people selling fake fan cards. I'm so sorry if you were ever a victim. I have been working on that. I plan on refunding the money to everyone. I myself sell the Sandra Bullock official fan card myself. I'm so sorry, everyone. I plan on throwing a party for all my loyal fans. But only this time I would be giving out the fan cards myself for $400. Only all the money for the fan.
I would.
Yeah, those fan clubs are really cheap.
Well, I would find it very offensive if you know the actual star was telling me, well, you can come and meet me, but it's going to cost you $400. And because I'm down under today, Australia is number 2 most victims per capita in the world for celebrity romance scams. And the reason being, it's a bit, romance scams predominantly target countries with strong economies and high levels of online activity. Because basically they think you've got plenty of money. They employ the strategy. They can target regions where people have high levels of disposable income, disposables throwing at them, and financial resources. Now we've got, because we're talking about Sandra Bullock, because we're talking about Keanu Reeves, Johnny Depp,
Jason Momoa.
Oh, I've got one of them. Oh, I had him yesterday.
He seems to be the current one at the moment.
He is all over the place. But see, if you have a little dig behind, you will see that you can look at them and you can see what, because somebody's not on tour. If you're talking about a singer, doesn't mean to say that she sat at home waiting for somebody to text her. So and if I can use a story to illustrate this, I had a lady who was from England, and she put a comment on an Eric Clapton page. She got contacted by Eric Clapton, and she was thrilled because she was a lifelong fan. And she started talking to him, and they were talking night and day, and he fell in love with her. And realized that, well, it had to be kept secret because you can't tell, Star can't tell everybody that they're talking to an ordinary person. So he started to say he was very unhappy and he wanted some money because he wanted to go on tour again. His management wouldn't let him go on tour. All he needed was £250,000.
Only.
She thought about it and said, I can give you that. Oh, it would only be a loan. It will only be a loan. And it means that, the first night of my tour, you can come and meet me on that tour and you can travel with me on the tour. So anyway, a couple of weeks passed, and do you know what happened? It was, Dan is looking for us. It was the fact that he needed another 250,000.
And what they say too? They say their managers look after their money and they don't have access to their accounts.
Which is, in a way, right, because if you're a multimillionaire and you're earning money all over the place, you haven't got a current account with your bank. Of course you've got it, but they've got their own money. They are an adult, very rich person. They do not have somebody who is looking after their accounts because they can't do it. Lady had actually said to her, Eric Clapton, after he was saying, thank you for the first 250,000. She actually said to him that she'd come into money. She was a wealthy woman and she could afford it. So a couple of weeks later, there was another request for 250,000 and she sent it. And he disappeared.
Good
So,
Lord.
I mean, it doesn't happen often that they disappear. I mean, if they think the scam's good enough, they will keep it going. But this one just thought, I've got so much money, I'm off. And
That's
so
$750,000.
yeah. So, she actually finally did contact his management and said, look, I think you should make sure, he owes me this money and out of the money that you control. And of course, then, because it was so much, they contacted her personally and told her, and she came to us. And she was just distraught. But Cathy, it doesn't matter if it's Eric Clapton. It doesn't matter if it's Sandra Bullock. It doesn't matter if it's Jason Donovan and Kylie Minogue. It is the emotional stress.
That's right.
Of the person.
That's exactly right.
The money is gone. The money's gone. When it's sent like that, the money's gone. But that feeling doesn't go. We can't decide that scam never happened.
And it's an awful analogy to say, Ruth, but literally they are raping your life.
They are. Because they're doing something to you that you would never give permission to do. Now, to me, that's the same as whether it's physical or mental. And mental scars just can't be healed very often. Because even if you get over it, even if you've done wonderfully well, and there's sort of others that we have with us done absolutely brilliantly well, but you can't make it not happen.
That's right. That's right.
You can cope with it very well, you can help other people, but you cannot unmake that event.
No. They're in denial. They are in denial. And I mean, look, I've never been in a celebrity romance scam. And I think if I fell in love with a celebrity, I don't particularly have I don't have a Brian May.
You're not having my Brian.
No, it's all right. I won't take him from you. I don't know how I'd feel. It's I'm not sure.
It's so easy to judge. It is so easy, and we do. I mean, I wouldn't say to a person, but it's like the Eric Clapton lady. She came up to me and I'm thinking, really? Because it is so far removed. But we've got to think, Cathy, that just like in any other scam, the scammer is controlling the victim's life. They are there 24/7, just about.
Excuse me.
They are there on demand. They are there to talk to them all the time. And when it's like an ordinary scam. It is a big good night at night. It is a big good morning in the morning with lots of romance. And when they ask for money, they will follow it up with, I love you very much, honey. Don't forget that.
They're grooming you.
So it's very easy for anybody else to judge. Very easy. But you haven't had that criminal in your face on your phone 24/7, and there are emotions and feelings involved. So my answer to anybody who judges is just don't feel sorry for them as if they've broken their leg, because nobody asks to be a scam victim.
That's exactly right. It's unfortunately it is very, very hard to convince them that it's just like any romance scam. Any romance scam, regardless of it being a celebrity scam or a romance scam, you will never, ever meet them. Never.
No. And of course you thought, well, really, I'm famous. I can't do a video call. My management wouldn't like it if I did a video call, which of course is a ready-made excuse. Now, if you had anybody who was madly in love with you, you're going to get a video call. They're going to be able to manage it somehow.
Oh, of course they will. Of course they
At
will.
the very least, your love would sneak into a corner and give you a voice call. But of course, these people don't.
And also another thing too, Ruth, is that they will send you lovely, lovely, lovely poems, love poems.
Yeah.
But when you're actually speaking to them,
Yeah.
the grammar is appalling. So it's all copy and paste.
It is all copy and paste. And usually you can find them, Google a few parts of it.
Of course you can.
I would actually think it very strange if somebody sent me 20 lines of, my favorite thing is walking along the beach hand in hand on a moonlit night.
Oh,
It's a bit of a creep.
yeah.
Now you can be as romantic as you like if you know somebody. Are you really likely to be that romantic if you've never met? So,
Of
and
course not.
it's difficult to take your mind off when you're completely involved in a scam. It's difficult to think, well, that's not good. That doesn't sound right. Because your brain gives you these chemicals that say, oh my goodness, that's lovely.
The endorphins, yeah.
And they're sort of like these false little things that's popping up into your head and taking it further.
That's right. And it's very, very secretive.
Yes, very. Of
Very
course.
secretive. Yeah.
You can't tell anybody because, what if the press was to find out that, so let me go back to Keanu Reeves, Johnny Depp, Sandra Bullock. Oh, I've got an Emma Watson one. Oh, an Emma Watson one who's way into it. That's Hermione from Harry Potter.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, well, I've got somebody really, really deep in that one as well. And of course, he believes everything she says. And now, if I can tell you Emma Watson one, they're going to buy a house together.
Okay.
Now he's selling his house because what's going to happen? She is very worried about the media in her own country. So they're going to go to another country and buy a house and live together. Now, if you're very, very famous, it doesn't matter where you go.
That's right.
Up to Mars, the media are going to find you. And they're going to find Emma Watson sort of, has a boyfriend who's 70 and is going to live with them. But this gentleman is selling his house and he's going to send the proceeds to his Emma Watson because her devoted lawyer is going to, and he's spoken to the devoted lawyer, it's barrister somebody, which is purely African. He's going to put money that she's got with his money, and they're going to buy this fabulous house, which she's actually showed him. Can't remember where it was. And I'm reading this thinking, really? Now, I can go with the scam. I can go with everything that happens in the scam. If you sell your house and you send all that money that you've got to somebody else, that means that just in case it might not turn out right, you've got nothing left.
And Ruth, we have, as you know, from other victims, it has happened. It has happened.
Yes, we've had.
I've had a couple here in Australia.
Yeah, I'd like to say it was unusual, but it isn't.
It's not.
It's not unusual.
It's
because, and it's very difficult, when we've got to tell people, oh, you're in a scam. Because they have been in the scam. They have been in the relationship 24/7 for however long. I mean, I had one woman this morning who'd been in a scam for 5 years. Now, excuse me. You've given me your cough.
Don't blame me.
It is. And let's just touch on whether you were talking to Sandra Bullock, Johnny Depp, Keanu Reeves, Kylie Minogue, Danny Minogue. I have to apologise because they're the only two Australian women that I know.
Mm.
Celebrities. I'm not a celebrity. I'm like you. I'm not really a celebrity.
No.
You know, they do these celebrity shows. And I've never heard of the people that put him up as celebrities. Whoever you think you are talking to, and however wonderful the romance, you're talking to males. You're talking to under 30-year-old, often under 25-year-old males. We know it is West Africa. Why do we know it is West Africa? Because of the method that they use.
Mm.
So they have, and we follow their Yahoo boy groups, so we know what they do.
Right.
We've seen the celebrity format.
Mm.
And it doesn't matter who you're talking to. That's the reason you haven't had... That's the reason that you haven't had a voice call. Because it's a boy sat in Nigeria or Ghana.
That's right. That's right.
You will never get anything other than the celebrity out of the victim's head.
And they will send you all the pictures, you know, that, yeah. Actually, now talking about phones, this is what I want to discuss with you too, Ruth, is a lot of people don't probably know this, but a lot of the scammers will use VoIP phones.
Voice over internet protocol.
That's right, voice over internet protocol. And the reason why they do that is because they don't have a number where the victim can bring them back on.
And of course, you can pretend to be somewhere else. I could go online now to one Envoy or Google Voice. There are a dozen or more different companies. And I can register here. I'm sat in the northeast of England. I can register here and I can choose that I want a number in Melbourne or a number in New York. So what I can do is I can register that number. That number goes with my cell phone.
That's
so
right.
My mobile phone has now got that new number. So if I'm ringing, technically, if I'm ringing somebody, my phone rings the Envoy or the Google number, and it, transfers it on. So we're going through their system. But when it comes to you, you can pick up that phone and think, oh, it's a Melbourne number. Who is it? It's a New York number. Who is it? Now, they can phone all around the world because it's not going to cost them any more to phone New York or Melbourne. So they can be sat anywhere in the world with a VoIP number, and it completely disguises where they are. Exactly. And you can't trace it.
That's right.
These numbers are not traceable. I mean, it's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. And also people say to us, well, I've got a Gmail, I've got a Yahoo Mail, I've got a mail.com. Can you trace who they, where they are from that? No, you can't. Because when you, and they'll come to us and say, is it California? Because I've got an IP address. And the IP address is in California because Google's in California. The address belongs to the email company, not where it's come from. So you can send me an email from a Gmail address. I can look up the IP address and it's Ocean View or something.
That's right. That's exactly right.
So people think, oh, is it California? No, it's not. Google's in California. So they are using everything that they can to be as anonymous as they can, whilst they're being somebody else.
That's right. Yep. What I really, it's a real gripe with me, and we've touched on it very briefly, and that is when they take you off the platform and they take you to WhatsApp or Google Chat or whatever, and they alienate you from your family and your friends. They tell you not to talk to anyone about their relationship because otherwise the media will get involved and it'll all blow up, and people, it's a load of rubbish. It is a
Well,
load of rubbish.
the scammer will also tell you that your family and your friends don't want you to be happy. So don't tell them about it, because they're going to say I'm fake. They don't want you to be happy. I'll sort it out when I get there. They're going to love me. Now, the thing is that your family and your friends would be absolutely thrilled if you're going to be happy. You know?
We've got a question here from Danny, and she says, why does Facebook not remove scam pages that are pretending to be celebrities? We could spend
How long
hours on
we
this
got?
answer.
Right. Let me say, Danny, that there was a time not so long ago that we actually had a human contact at Facebook.
Yeah.
And it was very, very handy, because we could send all these pages on email lists, and they would remove them for us. And that was absolutely brilliant. Then the fraud department decided they didn't want to deal with fraud. Don't get me going on it. We have got a bulk scam reporting form. And so they said, just use the form, but we won't be taking any more emails from you. Now, I'm talking about, this is something we did for years, not just months, but for years.
Excuse me.
And so the bulk scam reporting form used to take just profiles, but not pages, not groups, things like that. But then I had nowhere to send them to. So we had to stand there and watch them. Pages are impossible to get there. And then, so what happened then was we had a situation where now the reporting form doesn't work, and nobody's talking to us about it. It seems to be that the fraud department don't do any fraud anymore. And whether it's a celebrity, whether it's an ordinary one, whether it's a guy in an oil rig or a 4-star general, they don't seem to be removing any. Now, I've got a theory, and it's only my opinion. And this is because they want huge numbers. They are losing people to TikTok, to Instagram. They are not getting a new demographic coming in. And in order to sell lots and lots of advertising, they need big numbers.
That's right.
If I was Burberry, I wouldn't like my ads going to 25,000 Keanu Reeves. You know, it's completely dishonest what they're doing. But for some reason, they will not remove them.
It's wrong.
My big ambition is to get over a table with Mark Zuckerberg. But it is very, very wrong, because it's firmly down on the side of the scammers.
It's just criminal.
And you can't tell me they can't have a look. I mean, you know, taking the celebrity thing out of it, because the celebrities will say, oh, it's a fan page, it's this, that, and the other. You get on the fan page, and then the celebrity fan page is, hello, are you one of my fans? So we know that, you know, they're there to scam. But you look at something like Austin Scott Miller, who's a perfectly ordinary general, and you'll find hundreds of them. You can't tell me that Meta, with all the fancy equipment, can't find those and stop it happening. They will sell your data. They will sell everything that they can about you. And so, therefore, to me, they have a duty of care, which they are not doing.
Talking about selling, also, too, the scammers also, when they've actually finished with you with the scam, they will actually sell your information on to the next scammers.
There is something, and this is not my word, because I've been criticised for it. There is something called a sucker list. Now, the sucker list is if you've talked to one, if you've sent money to one, if you've believed but then come out of it, if you've been really into a scam, your name will go on that list, and that list will be bought and sold.
And it'll stay there.
Oh, well, forever. And because they think that if you've believed once, you will believe again. And this is how there's so many hackers. We can get your money back.
Yes.
Yeah,
Those recovery people who send all these out saying we can recover your money from a scam. No, they can't. They're scammers themselves.
and they're convincing because you want to believe what they say. And we get quite a lot of them. Always names, if you know me, Temi Topolo Wally.
Mm-hmm.
And he is from Nigeria, and his address is at, this map reading, and so they'll bring to us and say, well, they found him. Now he's got to hack into his bank account and get my money back, which is ridiculous. But this is but because they know there's a good chance that you will accept again because you accepted once.
And that's why some people get into a scam after a scam after a scam after a scam. It's a continuous vicious cycle.
I think a lot of this comes down to what we said before about learning what is behind a scam. Because if you say, if you've met somebody on an oil rig who you thought was gorgeous and lovely, and it turned out to be a scam. But you believed that the person in the picture was the scammer. And it's the same with the celebrity scam. If you really believe the person in the picture has actually got your money from you, it's going to happen again. Because next time a celebrity comes, or next time a good-looking person comes to you, you're not going to think that's one of those West African scammers. So you're going to answer, look, well, yeah, I'll talk to you, but don't ever ask for money because I've been scammed before.
And also the gift cards.
I remember a time, I'm going back now in scam history, where these gift cards were just, a $50 iTunes card was, mecca. And so it's ridiculous because, they're still going for iTunes cards, Steam cards. Now there's two or three reasons. You've got scammers who will $500 Apple card, they will buy it off them for $300. It's not free monies, but the buyer is getting. We used to have a system, and it's called loading, where they could, if they got, and it used to be $400. I don't know why, but it was. And if they got a $400 Apple card, they could change the amount on it, so it was like $2,400.
That's
they
right.
can always do things to them. And who wants a gift card for any reason at all, other than my grandson? And he's stopped doing that now because he's grown out of it.
I wanted to also say, Ruth, with the gift cards, I've had people ask me, but how do you get the gift cards to them? You don't. You buy the gift card, you scratch off the panel, and you give them the number that's on the gift card on the panel, and that's how they activate it.
Yes, because they're using software.
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
Software that they can use, so they don't need the actual physical card.
Yeah. Danny's got, in my experience also, the scam pages appear to be made up of a number of fake profiles, all interacting with the page to make them appear more legitimate. Well, they do, Danny, and you're not just talking to one scammer. You're talking to many.
Yeah. And every single scam, doesn't matter who it is a group. Because, there's got to be different. For a start, they've got to scam everywhere. So if they're in West Africa and they're scamming in Australia, there's quite a time difference there.
That's right.
If they're in West Africa and they're scamming California, there's quite a time difference there. So they work around the clock, they work shifts. And then there are the people who arrange for the bouquet of flowers or the pizza to come out to you. And one thing they will always do, and people don't realise this, they will always do a soft credit check. And there is somebody there to do that as well. So, this is organised crime. They're not playing. This is organised crime, and it's organised crime that is massive.
Oh, it's rife. Yeah.
And it doesn't get
it's a crime. You know, you're involved in a vicious cycle, and it's just pure crime. You are a victim of crime.
And another thing, they might say to you, oh, I've got some money coming and I can't get it into a bank account because people will say.
Mm-hmm. I know where you're going with this one.
Would you just take it into your account for me? And then maybe change it over to Bitcoin or gift cards. Change it over to Bitcoin. Now you see, money laundering is a huge part of the scam because the money cannot go straight to the scammer because he's hiding behind these pictures. He's not him. So they have got to get somebody, 1, 2, or 3 people, to handle the money before they get it. So if you send in $10,000 and they only get sort of 7,000 because there's been a few things to pay on the way, it's still free money. They don't care. But they will create money mules. They will create money laundering. And you think you're doing your love a favour. When the police knock on the door and arrest you, because they will. Because the guilty party, doesn't matter why you do it, the guilty party is the name on the account. Your name, your account, your crime.
Your crime. That's right. That's exactly right.
And you can say, oh, well, I'm so sorry, I didn't realise. Lisa said, but you should have done. It's money. Nobody would ask you to handle money. And of course, you've then snapped out of the scam by then, so you can realise what it's been. But they're not going to get arrested for it.
No, of course not. And with the money laundering too, they'll send you, say, $10,000, and they'll say, look, can you take out $7,000 and send it back in Bitcoin, but you can keep $3,000 for yourself.
Yeah.
And that is where it all starts.
And if you think about, if you're a victim of crime, if you're a victim of scam, and your scammer says to you, right, I'm going to give you a name and I'm going to give you an account number. Send it to Cathy. This is her account.
Yeah.
And, you know, she's my agent. She's going to take that in for me. So the victim realizes it way down the line that they've been scammed. It could be immediately. It could be a long time later. They realize they've been scammed. So when they go to the police, they're going to say, well, Cathy, and this bank account number is the accomplice. That's who got my money.
Yes.
So you see, it's never got, I mean, as Cathy, you don't know who you're talking to anyway. You don't know who you're sending the money to because you believe it is somebody else completely. So the scammers are sat there absolutely having a ball because nothing touches them. But everybody else in the process gets hurt.
We've got nothing on them.
Nothing at all.
No, nothing on them whatsoever.
And you see, we've got to say, and it is relevant, that in these countries, there is a lot of corruption. There always have been. We can't judge that. But if they are caught, and they do catch a few of them, they've got to keep their numbers up. If they're caught and they send the scammers to face the judge will say, oh, that's really bad, really bad. Prison, 2 to 3 years. Now, what they then don't tell you is prison 2 to 3 years or a $200 to $300 fine.
I know.
None of them's gone. Yeah. If you look at that, I mean, the arrest list on the EFCC page, you sort of feel like you really are George.
I was looking at it the other day. Yes.
And it says, you know, plea accepted $300 phone. They're scammers. They've got this in their back pocket. They literally is not a break in them scamming because they go to court, give them over the $400 and they're back out again to do it.
See, and that is, the economy over there, scamming brings money into the economy.
Big money, and they like it.
Exactly.
So they're not going to stop.
No judge is going to go hard on them.
Well, the government officials and everything, they're like it. I mean, you're not going to pay income tax on your scam money, but they are going to go out and buy luxury goods. They are going to go out and buy gold and diamonds and, you know, Chanel clothes,
Pink jumpsuits.
pink jumpsuits and black and white checky ones where he looks like a chessboard, and cars. So what they do is they put a luxury tax on. So that's the government's getting a little bit of money there as well. So it's a win-win over there, absolute win-win, and it's not going to stop.
Yeah, and that's what we say. Like, please look, don't give the scammers your bank details. I know it's very tempting, but do not give them your bank details.
Just think of real life. Would you, even if you knew them in real life, and they said they wanted your bank details, would you think, nah?
I don't even know my daughter's bank details.
No. And would you ask somebody for money? Because when I used to do the live chats with Pam, I used to say to her, just think, Pam, I said, we've known each other a long time now. We're really good friends. If I came on to you and said, oh, Pam, guess what? I've dropped my phone and I really need a new one and I haven't got $1,000 to buy a new phone. Can I loan your credit card? And can I get it on there and I'll pay it back in a couple of months' time? Now, Pam would very quickly have ceased to be my friend. But it comes on pretty much the same with a scammer, and all of a sudden you're fine with it.
Ruth, do you want to touch on the bit about sending airline tickets? This is a pet hate of ours.
Yeah. If you look closely, the picture of the airline ticket they give you is usually a picture of a doctored boarding card that they found online, boarding pass and things like this. An airline ticket has got, you know, Melbourne Airport as in, you know, whatever the code is and on to. It's not going to from Australia to America. There are Yahoo boy groups who specialize in making these tickets. I've even seen them with first class on them. But it's very funny, but they've got to arrange the buying of them, not you. So you've got to send them the money for the ticket, and then they will show you the ticket. But tickets and ID and passports are very easy to make. And also, it just wouldn't happen, you know.
No.
Because these days, if you buy an airline ticket, you just travelled, you get an e-ticket.
And I mean, we're fortunate enough where we can tell if a document is real just by looking at it.
Yeah.
We know what to look for.
Yeah.
And well, the passports for a start.
Yeah.
No, they with the passports, they always have the first name and then the surname. So it's the wrong way around.
Yeah.
Or the signature doesn't match.
Yeah.
You know,
or the picture, you can see where the picture's been put in.
That's right.
And maybe a line or two of type. The date of birth or something is slightly different than you know, the others. But again, I would not think of a situation where I would send anybody a copy of my passport.
Oh, no.
There's no need for it.
No.
But you've got to be aware, and we've got lots of examples, that these are made very easily.
They are.
And they are made, the Yahoo boy group say, if you want to increase trust from your client, because the victim is a client too.
That's right.
If you want to increase trust to your client, send a ticket, send a document, send a contract, send an ID card, send a passport, and they will make it up for you. And And so it is to do that. So you've got a group of people who want to send you all this stuff to get your trust. And we'll go back again to the fact of the emotional impact of a scam, because you did trust. And I want to cover, quickly at this point, that every single scam victim that we talk to, every single one of them, will say, oh God, I've been so stupid. How can I have been this stupid? Now,
No, don't.
That we can't allow that to continue, because you haven't scammed yourself.
No.
And also, self-hating is not going to do any good. But you've got to realize the fact that you're a scam victim because you're nice, because you trust. You would never do this to anybody else. So why do you think anybody would do it to you? And that's a very important consideration, because you've got to get your head around the scam, not your head round, oh God, what have I done? Well, yeah, it's easy, isn't it? We hindsight's wonderful when you see the end at the beginning. And people will say, how did you fall for it? How did you fall for it? I don't go back again, because we've got to keep saying it.
Or they'll say,
control.
Or they'll say, look, I'm a very intelligent person. I can't believe it happened. Oh, yeah, it can happen to anyone.
Yeah, Rebecca, who works with us, and the Eric Clapton lady, both of them started with the same thing. And before I talk to you, I'd like to tell you that I'm very intelligent, and I've got qualifications. And the only qualification to be a scam victim is if you're kind and trusting. It doesn't matter if you've got a diploma or a degree or a master's or whatever. You're kind and trusting, so you've believed what somebody's come to you with. So I can understand people feeling wretched when they find out what has happened to them.
Oh, it's gut-wrenching for them.
It's got to be put into context that you've had this done to. It's like somebody coming in and breaking your legs. You don't break your own legs and lie in hospital thinking, oh, God, I was so stupid letting him break my legs. It's the same thing. You have had it happen to you. And victim's a great word. Victim is a fantastic word. People don't like the word victim. I do. Because victim means somebody's done something bad to you.
I was watching this clip on YouTube the other night, and these two Nigerian boys were actually talking about that, about victims, clients, and they say that they don't like using the word victim because it's dirty to them. Yeah. Client is a business transaction. And I thought, oh my God.
That's all it is.
It is. It's just a business transaction.
There was a very famous thing from, is it 7 years or something you've got over there? They had a lady who was in a romance scam, but she was still in contact with them. And they actually took her out to Nigeria, and they set up this scammer, and he was going to he was going to get the money, but she only had cash. So they'd arranged, because he was a greedy boy, he'd arranged to turn up at this address and get the cash. And the police were there, and they arrested him as soon as they got it. But what struck me was when they looked at his phone, he had 83 live current romance scam victims on the go at that time.
Good Lord.
And they showed him a picture of the lady who'd gone through all of this, and he couldn't recognize her. She was just number one. That was it. One, number two, number three. That is it. It is a client. It is a business transaction. They don't know who you are. They don't have any feelings for you. It doesn't matter if it's Sandra Bullock, Emma Watson, Keanu Reeves. I'm going to go back to Kylie and Jason. They'll be forever. I used to watch Neighbours. They'll be forever matched to me. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the scams.
That's right. And you're right in what you say too, Ruth. The scammer is talking to many victims, and you will find also the scammers will stop calling you by your name.
Yeah.
And there is a reason for that, but I'll explain that in a moment to everyone. But they adopt the honey, baby, babe, my queen, my wife, my
My king.
husband.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And the reason why they do that is because they've got so many scam victims all at once, they don't want to get your name mixed up.
And of course, if they're saying good, because they've got everybody, in groups, so that so they've got the correct time to say goodnight. And so when that comes, they don't want to be sending, they don't want to be sending to Cathy and saying good night, Sheila, good night, Maureen, but because who the hell's Sheila and Maureen? Good night, John, when it might be Harry or whatever. It's babe, it's honey, it's an endearment. Now, also, they like the endearment. The victims like the endearments, so they never blink. It's isn't that sweet?
It's funny, actually. I can laugh about it all now, but at the end of my scam, I was getting sick and tired of being calling all those love bombing names. And I actually said to my scammer, I said, for God's sake, can you please call me by my real name just for once? And he did, just for once. And then it went back to the other names again.
Yeah. It could have even been somebody else that went back to, that came in. I am strongly convinced, I've heard it's true, that people have their roles. So you've got people who just starting who will do the copy and paste for the night and morning because it doesn't take anything. And then they got these little red flashy bunches of flowers, gifts they send and things like this. Oh my goodness. But also I will say before we go, and it's the same on celebrity scams as it is on any scam. Please do not send compromising pictures.
Oh, no.
Compromising pictures are there to blackmail you when you do not pay. You might think you're having a nice, sexy night in with your lover, whether it's Keanu Reeves or whoever, doesn't matter. Don't send electronically. Don't send any picture you wouldn't show grandma, because it will be used against you. These are horrible people. They've got no ethics.
They'll ask you for a video, while you're role playing, or take a picture while you're in the shower. No, because that's when it becomes a sextortion scam. And you're right, Ruth. They blackmail you.
Because, let's go back to the fact that they've got no emotion. This is a business deal. This is a client deal. So they're going to put something on you that they can use in the future to get more money from you. So, it's you probably wouldn't like it if it was somebody that you just met in real life. I would be offended if somebody asked me. Just be careful. It is online. Don't get carried away. I have a healthy hatred for these because people are glued to them all the time. And everything it's even worse when you press a button and it gives you a camera. And so people are glued to them all the time, and reason goes out of the window. They do not judge what comes in on that phone.
No.
Comes in on that phone.
And you know what? The worst thing about it is that they will show all the scammers your photos.
Of course.
Oh my God.
I mean, we've got a video that we can't actually show, and it's a lady who is just crying. She's sobbing her heart. And the video that we've got is the scammer and all his friends gathered around laughing at her.
Laughing. I've seen, I know.
Yeah, and she can laughing at her quite openly, and the more they're laughing, the more she's crying. But they think it's hilarious. So hilarious, they put it on YouTube.
And they, the scammers, what you were saying before, Ruth, how they've got no conscience. And we always think back to our own Rebecca, you know, what the scammer said to her in the end. You know, she just...
Rebecca so pushed, absolutely so pushed. And she went back home when she realised what was going on. She went back home and she said to him, "Oh, I've got nothing. I've got nothing. I've got nowhere to live now, or I'm going to not have anywhere to live. I've maxed out my credit cards. I've got no money. I've got nothing. I am destroyed. All I can do is take these tablets that I've got in front of me." And her scammer said, "Well, Rebecca, you do what you've got to do."
That is...
I like that reply because it snapped her out of it. It made her angry, you know? And so it gave us a little bit of time. So then she did confide in her best friend. Of course. But how cold and cruel can you get? "Oh, well, Rebecca, you do what you've got to do." Because she knew it was not going to get any more money from her. So she was surplus to requirements then. If she wanted to kill herself, you go and do it. And we've had it. We've had it with celebrities.
That's right, we have.
And, you know, it doesn't matter. The scam is the scam is the scam, whether it is a celebrity that you're talking to or not. But 100%, 1000%, I can guarantee that if anybody is talking to a celebrity, they are in a romance scam and they are going to lose. They are going to lose money. They are going to lose themselves.
Yes.
Because of the emotional hit.
And the family.
Yeah, it's
and the family.
And never turn your back on your family. Do not ever turn your back on your family because they've loved you forever. And you've loved them forever. So, you know, come on, be honest about it. So never turn your back on them because they have been there for you and they're probably worried sick. Or if they didn't know, they would be, and if they didn't know, you're doing it behind the backs. So just stop and think what you do. If it seems too good, it always is.
Well, I hope people that tonight's discussion was informative. As I said, our dear Ruth, she's an encyclopedia of acknowledgement. And I've learnt from the best. But no, it's
the most horrible world. And you know, when I
it's awful.
It was horrific to sort of, you know, gain the knowledge of it because you just can't think that it goes on in the world. It is so horrible, and it ruins lives. It ruins the photo victims' lives because, you know, if you've got a celebrity and they've gone all their life and they're now in their 50s and they've got all these fans, and all of a sudden they've got a reputation for asking fans for money or something like that. And they are us. You know, they are accused and everything. You've got roomfuls of feral males, I will say, sat in various places just looking for victims. And
look at poor old Prince William. He's been he's even been used. Prince William.
Yeah. I mean, you can buy a membership card into the British royal family.
Yeah, I know you can. Okay, my sweet. On that note, we better finish up so I can save this and get it onto Facebook. Ruth, thank you. You're an angel. I just hope that this was, you know, that people got a lot of information. Yeah, poor Gayleen. Thank you, Cathy and Ruth. Time for sleep over here in New Zealand. It must be. It's midnight.
Gayleen, she's had to watch us two instead of women who kill.
my Gayleen. Dana, you're very welcome. Thank you so much, Ruth.
And
we'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.